to Inside the Game on the National Soccer Network. Now, here are your hosts, Jonathan Turner and Nathan Wangler.
Welcome back into Inside the Game here on this Thursday morning, one day before the last day of the month and Halloween. It's episode number 181. I'm Jonathan Turner alongside Nathan Wangler, Ryan Glinsky, our producer. And Nathan, it was a busy night here in Michigan last night as the MHSAA boys soccer finals are closer and closer as they kick off here on Saturday, which me and you had a chance to do last year together. But the semifinals were here last night, and 8 teams battling it out. Well, 16 teams battling it out for the 8 final spots here to play here on Saturday. In Division 4, this is going to be an interesting one. Grosse Pointe Woods University Liggett, which held that number 1 spot for the entire season in Division 4 for the most part, is taking on Leland. David DeWahey's maybe swan song, right? We talked about how he is, stepping aside here at the end of the season. And he will no longer coach at University of Liggett. They're in the state finals.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the best way to go out is to go out on top. And I think I remember talking about that when we went through the rankings and looking at what that team, kind of their outlook to 2025 looked like, and they were top ranked. And so we had a feeling that they would get to this point, but win or lose, a wonderful career, very polished, very decorated career. So there's a lot to be proud of going away from what he's been able to do in the high school ranks, but there is no better way. There's no better way to leave than to leave on top. So he's 90, maybe 90 plus whatever away from doing so.
That he is. Country Day, which is obviously local here in Metro Detroit, taking on South Haven in Division 3 final. And the reigning Division 2 state champions in Warren De La Salle is taking on the reigning Division 3 champs. Well, actually, the Division 3 runner-ups last year in Hudsonville Unity Christian, who fell short last year to Notre Dame Prep in Division 3. They moved up to Division 2 this year. And so Warren De La Salle, who has an unbelievable player in Steve Corder, who has, I think, close to 40 goals this season, had the all-time scoring record at De La Salle, which I think before previously was around 33 or 34 goals. And so he's on a season single record. He's a junior, by the way. And I had a chance to talk with Mukhtar here earlier today, Skip Mukhtar, who is the head coach of the Rochester Christian girls soccer team, who's also an assistant coach for De La Salle. This entire team's coming back next year except one player. And so
that's wild.
This team is going to be good next year as well, right? So, and then last night, my alma mater, Troy Athens, fell short in the state semifinal.
Sorry. Wrong button.
Wrong button. Yep, there you go. They're trying to get back to a state final for the second time in 3 years, and it would have been the 4th time in 6 if they had gotten back here yesterday. But Ann Arbor Huron won 2-0, making their first ever trip to a state final. And Portage Central, who was number 1 ranked the entire season from the first week to the last week, had punched their ticket to a state final for the first time in school history. So for the first time in the history of those two programs, we have first-timers, and they will have, one of them will have a chance to win it for the first time in the history of their program.
Wow. Yeah, that's wild. It sets up a good field. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, mentioning Liggett, and I've since the Catholic League finals, have been kind of keeping tabs on him. Brady Ancona is that dude for Liggett. He's just constantly scoring critical goals for them. I thought he was phenomenal in the Catholic League final against Shrine, and just like looking at their score lines, that's Brady Ancona with a goal, and that is definitely going to be the X factor in that state championship game. But I think all 4 finals are set up for some fun ones, and definitely some good matchups for sure. And even looking at some of the semifinal matchups, very, very close games besides the Country Day one. But no, I think we're going to have some really good ones.
Yeah, Country Day was 7-0 blowout.
To
yesterday.
do that in a state semifinals, crazy.
And,
Yeah,
and
that's-
then so the Cranbrook De La Salle game was very interesting. My understanding there were 6 red cards handed out in that game.
No way. Hold on. Let me search up game details.
Yeah, there. So I guess
Oh, it doesn't have it.
1 or 2 happened in
So,
regular play, and then 4 at the
how
end.
many-
Confrontation
Wow.
between the referee and everything. So
I do have a question. What's the least amount of players you can play with?
7.
Is it 9?
6 or
7?
7.
It's
Wow.
not 6. It's 7. It's 7. That's the least.
You ever seen
That's the
11
least
versus 7?
amount of players that you can.
11 versus 7. Just get 4 red cards out of the gate. Let's see how this goes. We already saw 11 versus 9 plenty in the NISA tournament. Well, not plenty, but I mean 1 game. But yeah, it's interesting. All right, didn't know.
We saw a lot of red cards actually in that NISA tournament.
Didn't know.
We did. I think we saw. I think a total of 5 or 6, not 6
Wow.
or 7. So I make sure I'm important. But hey, we do have a great show lined up here this morning. We're going to dive into and again, you guys we talked about this yesterday, and we kind of wanted to get this in because the news came out here earlier this week about gambling and more importantly, officials and their gambling over in Europe. I mean, you talk about this. This is a pretty big deal. When researching this morning, they're saying that this is a widespread. They're saying 371 of Turkey's 571 active professional referees had betting accounts.
Yeah.
That is I don't know what percentage that is, but that's got to be above 60%.
Yeah.
That's so. But we're going to obviously get into that this morning. We'll dive into that more in much more complex level here throughout the show. What else are we talking about today, Ryan?
Oh, I didn't know if we were going to. I didn't know if that was a slick transition or what. But no, we also have the first ever Sky Stadium being built right now in Saudi Arabia, and then our very own Benjamin Kramashi of the USA made his Serie A debut for the first time yesterday because he's been playing in the Cups, but actually got a shot yesterday. But I figured we'd have a lot to talk about in the gambling, so I'd have 2 little smaller segments for us, and then obviously Question of the Day is already made. But fun episode.
That will be here locally last night in the Metro Series. Oak University and Detroit Mercy women's side played to a 2-2 draw, and that ultimately clinched a Horizon League berth for Oak University. They finished, I believe, in that 6th spot. So they will travel on the road for the tournament opening up here, I believe, this weekend. And then Oakland's men's soccer team still has 2 games remaining, both at home. They play tomorrow against Wright State, who's sitting currently at the bottom of the table. And they are currently in 6th, so they're also fighting. Again, keep in mind that the Oakland men's soccer team have been to the finals 3 of the last 4 years and losing it last year and had winning it the previous 2 seasons.
Hold on. I just started looking at the women's soccer standings. Who's the head coach in Milwaukee that we talked to?
Kevin Boyd?
Kevin Boyd. Just to talk about him real quick. 26 points in the Horizon League. 8 wins, 2 draws, no losses. That's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
That is impressive.
Ryan, reach
not
out
easy
to
to
Kevin and see
do.
if we can get him on the show for next week.
Yeah, we could do that. We could definitely do that.
A good, we'll get that going because I think again having conversations with coaches at the end of this season as well, very very beneficial.
Oh, more interviews.
More interviews. Hey, when we come back here from our first break, though, we're going to dive into this gambling thing. Also, there's a TikToker out there. I want to get this TikToker on the show, but there's a guy out there. He's claiming that he's going to be the starting center forward for the U.S. men's national team in 2026.
Oh, okay.
I
I don't know
who
how
it
you
is.
just
I
figured
already
this
know.
out.
Neil Kennedy.
I already know who it is.
We got to talk about this guy. I want to.
He's the real deal.
Commercial.
I just want to see if those
He's the
thoughts
real
are.
deal,
We're going to
boys.
dive into that. Let's go to a commercial. We'll be back here on episode number 181.
Experience the thrill of the game like never before with NSN's Game Rewind. Dive into full match commentaries enhanced with cutting-edge dynamic graphics, letting you relive the highs and lows of your favorite matches in astonishing detail. Whether it's a championship win or a legendary play, NSN Game Rewind bridges the past and future with a broadcast experience designed to captivate. Call 586-304-4405 and start watching today.
Welcome back here to Inside the Game here on this Thursday morning, last day of, not the last day, but second to last day here of October, Halloween tomorrow. Growing up here in Michigan, the 30th always used to be considered, back in the day, it was called Devil's Day. Remember that Devil's Night, I think they'd call it?
Oh, yeah, that's right, down in Detroit.
Yeah, because that would be like the night that everybody started fires.
Yeah, they burn all the houses down, yeah.
All the houses get burnt down here in Michigan. Now they call it Angels Night.
Yeah, because they were like, that's not a good thing, guys. Let's change it.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you probably could call it Heathen's Night or something. I don't know. But yeah, it was called Devil's Night here in Michigan. And because of the fire, they would just burn down all the abandoned buildings is what would happen, but that would be keeping the firefighters busy the night before Halloween. But now it's called Angels Night. And I remember that because we lived on a corner house in my neighborhood. So on a corner house, people would oftentimes take the shortcut across our lawn to go from one side to the other side, right? Like a diagonal across, right? And
time is money.
It seemed that on an Angels Night, it seemed like it would pick up its pace. And so my dad had gone out and invested in purchasing 2x4s, and we were putting nails in those and putting them on the grass. And I would have to go out and kind of hang out and watch a little bit on Angels Night to see what would happen. And we were always fearful of waking up one morning and just seeing a car on our front lawn because you blew out its tires. Yeah.
So hold on. Nails and 2x4s?
Yeah.
Did you impale any poor children's feet that ran through your yard?
No one was walking on the grass at night.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right. Late
at night. From 7 o'clock at night until 2 o'clock in the morning, and you pull it down.
some guy just got some massive hole in the bottom of his shoes.
Well,
maybe in his foot.
First off, you don't walk across people's grass. I'm talking about shortcut with your car.
That's true.
They
learned their lesson. Yeah. They learned their lesson. You're right. Yeah, you got a good point.
So there's actually, doing a little bit of research here, there's actually Angels Night does not, that's not the name anymore. It ended in 2018. It is now called Halloween in the D. However, a couple of communities like the one in Flint, they do still adopt the Angels Night phrase or whatever it's called. But listen to this. In 1984 was the peak of Devil's Night. 800 fires in the city of Detroit. That's crazy to me. And but yeah, now it's all a new initiative of featuring celebratory family events like trunk or treating, haunted houses, or parties. So
what else do you do with the?
Good on you, Detroit.
Well, what else do you do with the abandoned homes, though? I mean,
you tear them down.
Detroit's so damn big, you can put 3 major U.S. cities inside the city limits of Detroit. What do you do with all those empty homes? Sorry, I don't mean to be all morbid this morning. We don't have to go down that road, but
they're all vacant lots now. A lot of them are.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. A lot of it's just urban farms for the most part.
I've been on one of them. I worked on one of them.
While we're on the topic of Detroit and Michigan, we should discuss the fact that yesterday we received a package from Midwest United, as we had sent them, and a lot of teams around the country, like, hey, send us your gear. Send us. Let's talk about it. And Ryan right now is wearing a nice quarter zip provided via Midwest United. I am wearing a hoodie, a full zip with with the black. You can barely see it. Midwest United logo. It's really sharp, actually. It's really kind of a neat setup that they have. But we have tons of stuff that they have sent our way. We've got, and we did a video about it yesterday. That'll be posting to our social media here a little bit later this morning. But yeah, we love it. We love when teams send us stuff. They didn't send us a scarf, though. That's the one thing we didn't get for the wall. We'll have to talk about getting that. But yeah, Lewis Robinson, Midwest United, we appreciate you sending us that box. It's fantastic. Even though he's a Bronco.
Even though you're a Bronco. Sorry, I was muted. Even though you're a Bronco, we still love you.
Yep, it's true. I don't care whether he's a Bronco or not. We'll take free merch from anywhere, including Western Michigan, by the way. Yeah, we will. We'll hang that up at Pride.
I will not film that video. You can have someone else film that video.
Fair enough. So let's dive into this whole refereeing thing, and let's get into this because this is an interesting one.
Do you want me to read it?
Absolutely.
Okay, so this is the Turkish Federation, Turkey Soccer. 371 of the 571 match officials have gambling accounts. 152 of that 371 are actively gambling. One referee has placed 18,277 bets on soccer games, football games, whatever you want to call it. 42 have bet on over 10,000 games. 7 of these refs, of that 371, are elite referees and can ref Tier 1 and Tier 2 divisions of Turkish football. 15 elite assistant referees also bet on these games. And gambling is banned by FIFA, UEFA, and Turkish Football Federation. But apparently they are just still doing it.
You know, this is probably a proponent of a number of things, but probably one, the referees aren't getting paid enough, is probably what it comes down to, right? Because I mean, if you think about this, soccer referees are probably the least paid of the officials, you know, across the spectrum. Now, I'm not saying that that's going to change the betting scenario. What I'm saying is that if they're feeling compelled to bet, it's because they want more money, right? And so because you think about how many, this isn't like an isolated thing. This is a lot of referees. It's not just 10. It's not just 3, right? We're talking about 371 of the 571 match officials, of which 152 of them are actively gambling. Now, also culturally, gambling across the pond is obviously way more significant over there. It's been open for years and decades. You know, we see the betting that happens in our games here that are taking place mainly over there. And so, you know, this is clearly a serious problem, and it can't happen. And you have to look to what's the fundamental reason why they're doing it. Is it because no one's been, you know, looking into it? Is it because it's just been who cares? I mean, how did this happen on such a widespread level? I mean, we look back to what happened here in the United States with the NBA, right, a number of years ago. Now, granted, I know there's another thing
a couple
happened,
weeks ago.
but I don't know if there's obviously some things in regards to that we have to look into. But from the refereeing standpoint, there was a guy named Donahue. Remember back in the 90s, I think, or early 2000s, he was accused of gambling. He went to jail. He was betting on games. But it wasn't like 400 referees. It was like 1. And maybe a couple more that we don't know about. I mean, the FBI said that there was a lot of gambling, but a lot of it seemed like, again, very isolated individuals within the sport of basketball here in the last couple months. And a lot of it had to do with more of poker and gambling within the mafia is what it sounds like too. So it just, some of this doesn't have, that's what I'm saying. This is a widespread issue that doesn't make a lot of sense. And I have to ask, is it the core root problem? They're not just paying their officials enough.
Well, the NBA was league wide. The NBA was league wide too. I mean, if we're gonna give the NBA the benefit of the doubt and say that because they played legal games and only one guy was made an example out of that whole thing, I think we're getting off the rails a little bit here. The NBA was very clearly fixing games. That to me is not something that I mean, watch the documentary. I mean, it was pretty much league wide. There were referees all over the place that were gambling. But what I will say, and I'm going to take a different opinion on this than you do. You know, you said if they were compelled to bet, they're doing it because they want more money. I think if you're compelled to bet in the way that they're betting, they're greedy. I think that's as clear cut as it gets. And history tends to repeat itself every time. It doesn't even tend to repeat itself. It does repeat itself. And we live in a culture right now, and it's legal in Turkey, by the way, right? I have to throw that out there. Sports betting is legal in Turkey. It's not like what they're doing fundamentally is illegal. You can bet on sports. You can bet on whatever, much like you can here in the United States. Now, the issue is, again, a lot of these betting sites are not run by companies in Turkey, right? They're outside of the country. So that creates a situation where it's tough to kind of track who's betting on what. So that might be why it was so widespread and why so many referees thought that it was a smart and responsible thing to do. Here's what I'll say, though. When you promote and you push and you tell people to go out and bet when you make it a core part of the sports experience, and I don't care what sport it's in, this could be baseball, this could be football, this could be hockey, this could be soccer, whatever it is around the world, when you create a culture and a system and a society that pushes and promotes you to go out and gamble your money, people are going to respond, and they're going to do it, and they're going to do slimy stuff to get themselves more money. And people on the inside are going to take advantage of that. That's what it is. Okay, if you open up the floodgates to human beings, they're going to find a way to take advantage of it. They're going to find a way to be slimy about it. They're going to find a way to try and get themselves that extra, whatever it is, thousands of dollars. I mean, I would do close to anything to have an extra $10,000 in my bank account, let alone an extra $1 million. But that's the danger that you have when you make that switch. When sports gambling was illegal, obviously there was still some of that. But you really had to know a guy to make that a reality. Now it's wide open. And I used to think when I watched a lot of games, JT, I used to think that all these conspiracies about, the game is fixed and, the certain money lines, and there's a reason why things played out the way that they did. And it all goes back to the money. I used to believe that was just hogwash. I was like, people are just conspiracy theorists. They just want to buy into whatever conspiracy it is they see on the internet. I don't believe that necessarily anymore, because there is so much money in sports gambling flying around that someone is going to do something to put themselves in a position to come out with a lot of money. So maybe they're not paying the referees a correct amount in Turkey. Okay, that's fine. But we've gone so far to the opposite end, and it's hilarious to me because JT, as play-by-play broadcasters, we're not supposed to gamble, right? You and I are in the business of we cannot do that. If someone were to see me gambling on a bunch of sports, specifically baseball, like let's say like if I was gambling on a Tigers game, that I could legitimately get in some trouble because not because I have any sort of insider information, but I might. You never know. So if you and I got caught doing that, we would get in trouble. There would be someone to answer to for that. And so it's ironic to me when I see commercials and when I hear commercials, and you used to have play-by-play broadcasters that are like, don't do it. Matt Shepard is doing gambling commercials. All these play-by-play guys are like, yeah, go spend your money here, go spend it there, free bonus bet. It's wild. It's the wild, wild west. This stuff's going to continue to happen the more that we promote this garbage. I'm sorry. It is. And this is just the latest example of it.
Okay, I guess we need to. You said the more we promote the garbage. Are you saying that gambling is garbage? Is that
not inherently garbage, but we're so open-faced about how much we want people to go out and spend their money. Like it's a business. You know what I mean? Like these places are, the house always wins. Like these places are making money off you, like the casino.
Well, and the crazy thing is, it used to just be able to bet on the spread. You could just be able to bet on who wins, who loses. Now you can bet on who kicks off and what and how far it goes.
Who wins the coin flip?
It's crazy what the things that you can bet on, because every
right.
And to be fair, we talk about this a lot when it comes to like how our network, like in a game, like everything is for sale in a game. Like I mean, I could sell just about anything I want in a game, and so. Which again, you can say maybe that's irresponsible. No, it's about finding ways to monetize so that we can stay alive, right? And so we can stay afloat, right?
Yeah.
But again, if I look at this and say, okay, I understand what you're saying, and I don't disagree with it. And I think that you're spot on as well. But if I look at across the country and across the world, I would imagine, and we've seen this before. We've seen players who, inadvertently. They say inadvertently, right? In the NFL, for example, they placed a bet on something that was not even related to the NFL. It was related to another sport, and they get in trouble, right? We've seen, we've seen referees who have, again, similarly type scenarios where maybe they did something and whatever, and they get in trouble. The question I have though is, this is significantly widespread in this league. And so the Wild Wild West is a great way to explain this, and to describe it at least. But for 5 years, 18,000 matches. One referee bet on 18,000 matches over a 5-year period. Right? I mean, that means that no one's paying attention, or they didn't want to pay attention. Right? And so you have to ask yourself, okay, so we have 371 out of 571 officials, which by the way, that's a very round. I mean, why couldn't it have been like 367 out of 571?
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? Like, why be?
That's the biggest
Well,
conspiracy.
there's 200. There's exactly 200 that didn't. So my question becomes, is this a conspiracy at the league level, and that they have they got their hands in the cookie jar, and this, or is this really the referees just on their own? You know what I mean? Because that doesn't make sense.
That's why they're
I mean,
investigating
again,
it.
you have
I don't
4
know.
or 5, right? You have 10. Maybe you can get away with saying that
Thank
that's
you,
not a
Nate.
league, right? I mean, again, you said when you were talking about Donaghy and the referee, we talked about the NBA. You're saying across the league it was widespread,
Yeah.
but he was the fall guy, is what you're
Yeah.
saying? Okay,
Yeah.
and so again, everyone's always said that the NFL is fixed, right? We know who the Super Bowl is going to be. The colors and the logo is going to decide who is in the. It's like
I have
there's
seen
this.
that, yeah.
This is all these conspiracies about. Oh my gosh, it's the Detroit Lions and the Chiefs playing in the Super Bowl, and it never happens. And you're like, well, that was what they. I've been guessing it right every year now. No. So the question I have is: this a league thing? Or is this referees just being greedy? I mean, like because it seems like that's a lot of bodies who are betting.
Yeah.
So curious.
It very well could be interconnected. Now, I'm not taking responsibility away from the league right away. Like they're still in the very early portions of investigating this. Now, obviously, the whistleblower told a lot because we know the exact number and we know who the one. We don't know who the one referee is, but we know that he exists, right? So I'm not going to take responsibility away from the league, but I just think that greed is a very important component of this. And I know that with you being a referee once upon a time, you want to give referees the benefit of the doubt. And I respect that. Like, I respect your willingness to kind of look at the other side of things, be like, yeah, they have families, they have kids, they have all these things too. Like, everybody in the world could afford more money in their pocket. Like, there's a certain portion of human beings that don't, they have more money than God himself. But then there's the rest of us that are like, hey, I could use an extra, whatever it is. And so I love that you're willing to give people the benefit of the doubt. That's a good quality that you have. But I just think that we need to take greed into effect, because I do think it is something that if you can take advantage of a system, and for 5 years too.
I mean, and
5
I don't
years
disagree
is
with you.
wild.
And I'll give you a perfect example of this. I used to work for a large corporation back in the early 2000s, and large corporation. And just like in any environment, whether it be a retail store, whether it be a grocery store, whether it be a corporate environment, employees can figure out ways to steal, right? Let's be honest. It doesn't take much. You can figure out a loophole in the system. You can figure out where someone's not paying attention, and everybody could do it, okay? Vast majority of people do not take advantage of those situations. They don't do it.
Yeah.
They see it. They see the opportunity. They know that they did it. They probably wouldn't get caught. But the fear of going to jail, the fear of being fears do weigh on people. And ultimately, they don't do it. There are a lot of people that are greedy. And I'll tell you, in the sales environment that I worked in, when I worked for the AT&T and the Yellow Pages back in 2008 and 2009 and 2010, I can tell you that there were people who wanted to go on the President's Club trip. They wanted to raise that trophy. They wanted to go to Cancun with the other 100 people that were going to be invited to President's Club. And they found a way to get there unethically and basically stealing. They figured out that they could do any contract that was under $299. $299 was the threshold. Anything over $300 needed a credit check. You needed to have the company had to have a credit check on that company. And so anything under $299 didn't need that. And you didn't have to we had two ways of verifying a contract. One is through voice verification on the phone. The other one was a signed contract. They would just send contracts to a fake fax number and then sign them, send them back.
Oh,
You were getting, and the Yellow Pages, the way at that time it was the Yellow Pages. And so we would be canvassing or doing contracts where in February I'm making phone calls, but the book wouldn't come out until October. So we wouldn't actually start billing the customer until the book hit the streets. And so you literally had an 8-month head start on getting your commission. So you get your commission like 2 weeks after you close a deal, and they wouldn't even start billing that customer for 8 months. So you had an 8-month head start. And so you'd be signing these contracts up and down the street, and all these things. And new business paid you 100%, and when you got through the final gate, it was paying you 300% commission. So on a $300 deal, you were making $900. And so these people were doing this like all over the place. And I remember people getting walked out. Like, why are they getting walked out? Well, they caught another one. They caught another one. You're like, oh my gosh, man, people are getting walked out. But I mean, again, they found this loophole, and then there were people that were doing it. But the vast majority of people don't, as greedy as they might be, won't take advantage of that. This is 371 people out of 571. And while I think people are greedy, that seems like an insane number of people who are taking the risk.
It's a lot.
It just seems like an insane number. I'm not saying that people aren't greedy. I'm not saying people aren't going to steal. But to have that many referees, that many, you know what I mean? To be a part of this, like that is nuts. That is way above what would be considered normal activity in an abnormal scenario. Because again, I mean, this is, I don't know what 371 into 571 is. It's above 50%. It's got to be close to 65%. I'm not really good at simple math, Ryan, according to you. And so you should look and tell me what that math is.
Look at you.
What is it?
65%.
There we go. All right.
You can't add up the number like simple,
Nailed
like
it.
2 plus 2 or 4 minus 1. But hey, you could do 371 divided by 571. There's a horn.
Boom. All right. Well, there you go. So 65% of referees in Turkey in the professional environment are bettors. And that just, again, that seems extremely high. So either A, this study is full of shit, and they don't have that many people doing it, or there's something else here that we're not seeing. Like, it was like a welcome thing by the league, where they're like, "Hey, we want you to do this. It's part of your compensation. You're gonna be, this is what we want you to do." And to be fair, that actually makes more sense to me. Where like, you're doing
or someone outside of those circles that's benefiting from all this. I mean, that's typically there's a ringleader. There's someone who's running the show. So. I think that probably has something to do with it too. And also, I mean, keep in mind, and I'll bring everything back to that documentary I watched, like when you get into a certain situation like that, like you have to keep generating money. Like if you're in an agreed situation with someone who's like, you're going to be doing this illegally and you're going to be generating X amount of money on whatever bets that you put in, like you're going to be using inside information in order to, give yourself an advantage and make the money. Like you can't just like stop. Like, that's not something you can just do. Like, once you do it, you've done it. Like, you're in the books. And so that's another component to it, too. And so pressure builds on pressure. And so it just kind of branches out like that.
Yeah, or it's like the referee association decided, or the league said, hey, do us a favor. Go to like your Gamblers Anonymous, down the street and grab everybody and anybody who's in that, that Gamblers Anonymous and bring them in. Let's train them as referees. Because I mean, the numbers just don't make sense. Because again, if the NBA, again, if we talk about the NBA, I'm not sure how many referees are in the NBA. There's 3 in a game, right? And then you have another, probably a standby someplace at the booth, at the table, right? So you have probably 4 referees. There's 30 teams in the NBA.
32 maybe.
So,
no, I think 30.
Well, in any given night, though, there'd be 16 games happening. If they were all happening at the exact same times, you'd have to have 16 times 4, plus in the G League and everything else. If you had 65% of the NBA, that wouldn't make sense. Yeah, it wouldn't make sense. You said widespread, with Donahue possibly, but not all referees did this. There might have been 10% of all referees. Which, again, 16 times 4 is, what is that, 60, 64, 65 referees, give or take? And so 7 referees, 10 maybe. That seems more logical to me. Not because, again, your top referee's not going to do that. He's like, I don't need this shit. I've been doing this for 25 years. I'm good. Greed or side, no matter what. These guys work their ass to get there. I just think the psychological component of this again, I don't know. It just the number the 65% just doesn't make sense to me. And I'm curious to me is, again, it makes it sound like the assigner, the league, whoever governing body, whoever it was like, hey, as part of your job, you have to go log in and bet on these games. And by the way, we need to see 17 fouls exactly today. We need to see this. And, you're going to go bet on this. You're going to make some money. That is your – because, again, think of it this way, too. If you want this thing to work out, you need to have a fall guy. What better way to have a fall guy than have 371 referees? You know what I mean? Like, but it doesn't make sense. I'm going to err that this has got to be the governing body was authorizing this. It was they're incentivizing the referees to do it. And the collective group of referees is the one being to be held responsible, but not the governing body. That's the only thing I can think of. Otherwise, it makes sense.
So, as a part of an internal review, the NBA acknowledged that approximately half of its officials had gambled at some point.
But not
nearly
necessarily
all
on NBA
referees,
games, but gambled, right?
Yeah, well, we're actively gambling, but
Yeah, I mean,
it's
I
on
think-
sports.
Yeah,
Nearly all
again,
referees admitted
I
to some
think that
form
there
of
was-
gambling, despite a
I
rule that the league had banned it.
I
So-
don't find it to be uncommon or to think that referees aren't going to gamble on things. I think that to be fair, I think you're
No,
asking
but-
someone
but
to not want to gamble on other
part of-
sports. I find that to be
part of-
odd.
I know, but part of what he was saying, all I'm saying is that part of what he was saying was that the NBA was fixing games. Like this was a widespread league thing, and he was the fall guy. Now, obviously, he took it to a different level than a lot of other referees did, but there were like active communications in locker rooms with other referees about betting, and they actually warned him not to take it to the length that he did. That's the thing. Like he took it to a different level, and that's what kind of ended up just ripping him apart. You got to go back and rewatch the documentary. Trust me, it's a good watch, and
It was 2007, by the way.
pretty damning.
Yeah, I mean half. Again, I think it seems so.
It's
again,
not.
I
It's
guess-
not wild to me to think that an organization like the NBA would have a fall guy for something like this.
No,
if
no,
they
no,
thought
not
it
at
was-
all.
it
I'm
was
just saying that,
much
but have half
wider.
the referees. So again, the way I look at this is again the NBA is saying, "Hey, we're doing this." Which again, there'd have to be documentation of that.
Mhm.
I mean, how are you going to do that in a conference call that no one's taking notes? You're all in the same room in a locked door, like in like the hub or whatever you want to call it, where you're in some room that no one knows, has no sound. You can't bring your cell phone in. Guys, here's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's like it just
Yep.
seems like it seems like a conspiracy theory. You're right.
Yeah.
Because you
Yeah.
have to pull that off.
Mhm.
It's crazy to me. But anyways, time will tell, I guess, right? I mean, but since 2007 in this documentary, has anything ever surfaced relating to his claims?
Well, I mean,
In
the
the
case
I
is
haven't watched
closed
the
now.
documentary, so I don't have a. I'm
I
just
mean,
saying,
the case
has
is closed
anything-
now, but
Huh?
the case is closed now, but so
No, I meant like, did anything as a result of what he was saying in regards to over half the officials and whatnot, did anything ever surface to substantiate that on any level?
I don't know. I mean, the case is closed, dude. I mean, they're not going to keep investigating it. They're not going to keep looking
No,
into it.
I just didn't know
like,
if in the documentary that there was like any type of
Oh.
proof that he had.
I haven't
presented.
watched it in a while, so I got to
Yeah.
go back and watch it again. But
We
I'm
should
just
absolutely
remembering
watch that.
details from.
We should do it
remembering
like in
details.
school. We should just sit here and watch it together. It's popcorn on the show. Let's
That'd be
just
good.
watch some documentary of.
That'd be funny.
Well, hey, we'll keep talking about this. I think it's an important thing. If it's in fact as widespread as one would think, then that would be a serious problem. And I hope you're training referees because they're going to need referees who aren't gamblers here pretty quick.
Yeah, yeah.
We're gonna have we're gonna have an international referee shortage in all sports because why are they all gone? Yeah, they're all in jail. They gambled.
All of them are gone. I mean, every one of those referees, all 371, should no longer be officiating soccer games based on this. And so
Yeah.
now you got to replace those with 371 more referees,
But
of
hey-
which they said 10 of them
Good
were
luck.
what in the top tier.
7 or 22 if you count the assistant referees and then
That's crazy. It's crazy to me. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable. We come back here on episode 181. We will talk some more things soccer here on this morning's episode. We're talking with this guy Neil Kennedy a little bit. Again, I know Ryan doesn't want me to talk. I got to figure out what this is all about. Let's dive into that a little bit this morning. But you're watching number 181 here of Inside the Game.
Are you ready to create unforgettable moments for your audience? NSN offers professional live streaming and full broadcast services tailored to your needs. From high-quality production to exceptional coverage, we ensure your game or event becomes a spectacle to remember. Book your next game with us today. Call 586-304-4405 to schedule your broadcast and let NSN bring the action to life like never before.
Welcome back to Inside the Game here on this Thursday morning. Jonathan Turner alongside Nathan Wengler, Ryan Glinsky. And I've been noticing this gentleman on TikTok here over the last couple of weeks, and it's caught my attention because this person seems so very confident that they will be not just on the U.S. men's national team, but they will be actually a starter, a center forward, if we actually played a three attacking formation, which we have not on a consistent basis. But anyways, be that as it may, this guy Neil Kennedy is supposedly is going to be on the U.S. men's national team. He's got some videos of him taking some shots on TikTok. First off, the first question I had was he was even eligible to be on the U.S. men's national team. I wasn't even sure if that was an eligible, because again, there's certain requirements that you have to have either through birth, naturalization, or lineage. And then obviously the other criteria is you have to develop the skills to be selected in the first place. When I Google him, I don't know if I have a bio that shows up in regards to his soccer abilities. I'm just curious your guys' thoughts on someone going on TikTok and saying that they're going to be on the U.S. men's national team here come June.
He only exists in legend, man. If you don't know, you don't know. Like you gotta be in, you gotta know. And I'm surprised you don't know that Neil Kennedy's the guy. And I've been high on this dude for a while now. And I know I don't talk about him during our recaps and who the U.S. is playing. But if Mauricio Pochettino's missing out on one guy in particular, it's that. It's horrible that he hasn't gotten a chance yet. Do you see those open field practice shots he's taking, man? I mean, those are bangers. Like, we should show some of his highlights on the screen. I don't know if we got any videos pulled up right now, but this kid's the real deal. I mean, I noticed him before you guys did. Like, let me just put that out there. Like, I was the first one to spot this guy. I'm like, you know what? This is the way. This is the way. We got to see it.
Didn't think we'd be quoting The Mandalorian today. All I would say is, I mean, all right. I think what happened is this guy was overweight and he wanted to showcase his weight loss journey. If you look at him, and I mean, gotta give the guy credit. He's making something entertainment. He's giving people to watch. Like, I watch his stuff sometimes, and he's making a name for himself. But in terms of I mean, he's delusional if he thinks he's gonna make the U.S. men's national team, or his brother, I forgot the other brother's name. He says he's gonna play starting midfield for the LAFC or the LA Galaxy, whatever it is. I mean, give the guy some credit. He's putting himself out there where a lot of people want to do it. I mean, And when no one's defending him, he's really good. No one's defending him, he's really good. And if you look at some of his game film, because like sometimes people will post them like, oh my god, that's Neil Kennedy. Yeah, the dude sucks in like actual games. Like, but like, I mean, give the guy credit. He's making a name for himself. He's entertaining. I'm sure he's getting paid doing this stuff in terms of social media. Like, maybe he's got a couple endorsements, but like, he's not doing anything professional soccer related. I mean. He seems like he's from LA, so who knows? Why isn't he on the LA Force? I mean, he could have been on the LA Force, but I would just say that I mean, give the guy some credit, but no, I don't like this guy.
There's a certain thing, and I never used to believe in it, but I believe in it now. There's a certain thing known as manifestation, right? You got to tell yourself, this is what I'm going to do. This is where I'm going to go. This is what I'm going to accomplish. This is it right here. It's all in front of me, right? He's manifesting, dude.
There's delusion
putting the energy
in
the
manifesting.
Atmosphere. Like, you got to put the energy in the atmosphere. You never know. I mean, there's always a fighting chance.
If he had said this 3 years ago, you know what I mean? Like, if he had come out during like the start of COVID, you know, or like the end of COVID, like, hey, I'm gonna be, I got 3 years to get there. You know, but to come out in like May of 2025 and say I'm going to be on this team in a year, no.
He's really cutting close.
Manifestation.
We don't win the World Cup because we didn't put him on there, man.
Huh?
We didn't have him. If we don't win the World Cups because we didn't have him.
This is one of those things where, you know, Nate and I, we like kind of playing this game of chicken and mouse here a little bit. You know, it's like, you know, and in this case, you know, clearly this Neil Kennedy guy is the mouse. Okay, so it's like, but okay, but yeah.
Did you just say chicken and mouse?
Cat and mouse. My bad. Cat and mouse. Thank you. Yeah, my bad. It's Thursday. It's been a long week. Yeah, my bad. Cat and mouse. Thank you. Thank you for catching that. I can still add a math.
It didn't register at first. I was like, chicken and what?
No, I was testing you. I wanted to see if you were paying attention. Nate.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to see. Anyways, with that being said, this is straight up delusion. Okay, there's one thing to go out there and say, you know, to be fair, this kind of reminds me of Dumber and Dumber and Jim Carrey, like I have a 1 in a million chance, right? That's kind of like,
he's got a chance.
I got a chance,
Dumber
right?
and
You know,
Dumber.
you're telling me I got a chance. Like, you know, he's walking up to Pochettino and saying, hey, I got a chance. He's like 1 in a billion. Oh, I got a chance. this guy doesn't have a 1 in a billion. So it doesn't even, not even chance, not even, you know, nope. No. So I would love to have him on the show, though. I would love to have this guy on our show. Ryan, take care of that, please.
Oh, absolutely.
I'd love to get Neil Kennedy on our show. And again, much respect. I think putting yourself out there. But again, in today's world where you don't have to have a lot of talent to you know, or any talent at all in anything, and just start creating content, but doing so in a consistent way. You know, I mean, you know, he's putting himself out there, but he's doing it in a way in which he looks like he does. And hopefully that will create more people to watch. It caught my attention, you know, and it's going to catch a lot more people's attention because they're going to this guy's clearly not good enough to be there. And when he doesn't make this team, what's he going to do then? You know, what's he going to go back to?
I'm tuning in. I'll tell you that.
I want to see, to be fair, if I were Pochettino, if I were the coach of the U.S. men's national team and I saw this, I would absolutely invite him to camp. And video the whole
Are you kidding
thing.
me?
What are we doing?
Yes.
Video the whole
Dude, that
thing.
would be
Like, yeah, we gave this guy the chance, man.
dream.
He wanted to be starting forward. We gave him the chance. He lasted 36 seconds.
This is like the real version of this is like the real soccer player version of Ted Lasso.
Yes.
Like it's someone. I'm sure he obviously played the game. It's not like it's a foreign football player or something like that. that what Ted Lasso was as a coach, but this is definitely a Ted Lasso player moment happening in real life. And Ted Lasso was strictly created to create buzz, excuse me, for the Premier League here in America. And then it became like this cool thing, and it became a TV show, yada yada yada. But I think that you can put them. You gotta. If you're gonna do it, you've got to do it strategically, where like the whole world doesn't make fun of us, and you can't be like, "What are we doing here?" Like you gotta put him. You've got to put him like off to the side. Like he cannot be on the same field as our first team, but like throw him on the side, put him into like a little training session, and then be like, "Yeah, you gotta go, bro." But like you could do it, and it would create some buzz for the national team lead into the. Oh my God, that's what they could do.
Oh, yeah, they could be. Pochettino could come in and hey, all right, here's the deal. You could be our team. You could be our water boy.
Oh my God,
you'll be our starting water boy.
He's like Oracan. He's like Oracan on McNeese State last year. He simply doesn't do anything except wear a boombox around himself as the McNeese State basketball team takes the floor. He could be Oracan, bro. Oh, he could.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
they could do so much with this. They could really use him to promote the World Cup. Put him. Oh my God, this is so dumb, but it could work. Oh my God!
Like I said, I as a fan of the game of soccer and as a former coach and player and referee and broadcaster, I think it's
this
awesome.
Could work.
I think they should give him a chance to go show himself in a camp, a training session.
Don't put him in a camp. Put him in like a 15-minute training session and then just boot him.
Yeah, because as everyone rolls circles around him, again, if he can hang, I mean,
he ain't hanging. But like,
Hey man,
Neil's
I'll
gotta
say
take.
if he's
what
if
is
he's
it?
comfortable enough, to do everything that he's doing on social media right now, because the balls that it takes to put yourself out there like that is really,
I don't know if it
really
takes that many
hard.
balls anymore, though. I think people are willing to do
Dude,
stupid shit all the time.
My man's being overweight and having your shirt off and running around is not a comfortable thing to post on social media to millions of people. So I think he would
No,
be
but
comfortable with
I
going.
think it's therapeutic for those who are trying to, solve some problems. You know what I mean?
maybe,
I
but I'm
think
saying
we
is
use
like
social media as therapy now in real time. I think that's
Yeah.
what we do.
Yeah.
It's very therapeutic. Like I released it to the
I don't
world.
like-
I can no longer. I whatever I was feeling before is now out there. The whole world knows it. It's fine. I mean, he is doing this with intent. He is putting himself out there. And granted, he could be a genius marketer for all we know.
Yeah.
Who's just like,
Yeah.
I want to come up with this idea to tag the World Cup and see how I can do that. And if this guy is full of shit, like, you'll find out in 30 seconds on a soccer field.
Well,
They
no,
should-
but I think he knows he's full of shit. That's what's funny is I think he's leaning into that.
I think
So
we should
that's
call
why I
it
think it
bluff.
would be
I think
funny
we should
to.
call his bluff.
It's not even
honestly,
a bluff. I think he's full. I think he knows he's full of shit. I think that's why it would be funny to put him in there.
Oh, yeah.
He's gotta do like a commercial promoting the World Cup. That'd be hilarious. Honestly, I would make Jason Sudeikis, Ted Lasso promote the World Cup because everyone loves Ted Lasso. I would do it that, but there's definitely an avenue. There's definitely an avenue of using a Neil Kennedy to promote the World Cup. But no, I just don't like this guy, but it could work. It could work. I'm just saying there's a chance that this could work in terms of promoting the World Cup. I'm not saying being on the roster, but there's definitely a chance. And I don't like it, but there's a chance.
Well, there you go.
Chance. Love it.
Neil Kennedy, we'd love to have you on the show. We'd love to talk about your soccer experience. I don't know if he's ever mentioned his experience or his past, but I would love.
No, I don't think he has.
Yeah, I mean, there are some clips of him playing some games where he looks a little sluggish on the field. So
Oh, boy.
I did watch a few clips of him playing. It looked like a pickup game someplace, where his go-to is the back heel. So
Yes, it is.
the back heel go-to pass. But hey, love to have him on the show, talk about his experience and see if this is for real or if this is all for shits and giggles. Either way, it's fun stuff to talk about. But time for a question of the day.
Yeah, let's do question of the day. But before we do, Salt Athletic, an official sponsor of us here at the National Soccer Network. Use promo code NSN15 to save 15% off of that smell-proof cleat bag that 100% works. Scan that QR code on your screen or visit saltathletic.com today. But question of the day. What is the worst I think I spelled it wrong again. Sports scandal you have ever seen. I gotta get better at this.
With chicken and mouse and worse, I think we're all in the same boat, my guy.
Yeah, that's bad. It's been a long week. First week back, we gotta shake off the rust.
The worst sports scandal. Honestly, I think the Nancy Kerrigan, Tanya Harding thing was probably the craziest thing.
Is
right?
that the ice skating thing?
Yeah, that one was pretty. That might be again. There's a lot of craziness that goes into sporting events, but I think that's the one that I would say is probably the worst. It actually, it had the impact it had on that Olympics. Nancy couldn't go into it. It was crazy. So.
I'm gonna probably Larry Nassar or Jerry Sandusky.
Those two.
Yeah,
that's
those
bad.
are
I mean,
good too. Yeah.
Sandusky was that was wild. And that was just so crazy to see the downfall of someone like Joe Paterno too, because he was so. That's the craziest part to me, is just like how long he was there and how revered he was at Penn State and how much everyone loved him. And then in one foul swoop, it's like you ignored some of the most heinous crimes ever. And then it was just free fall from there. And same thing with Michigan State. Like Larry Nassar, worked with the Olympic team. Like he was a well-respected, a lot of people revered that guy. Yeah. I mean, dark times, just not good, disgusting stuff. But yeah, those, at least in my mind, from what I remember in terms of sports scandals, those two arguably had to be the biggest.
I think great point. I still to this day don't understand the mindset of Penn State and how you could not. It doesn't add up to me. Yeah. So it's almost like
It's not like they were winning either at the time.
No, but to be fair, the internal aspect of handling something is a real thing.
Yeah.
Not letting the world know. Right? We're going to handle it internally. Right? How many times have you heard that before? It's been someone gets fired, it's all we're going to say is he was fired. We're not going to say anything more.
Right.
Everyone signs non-disclosure agreements, and then off you go. Right.
Inactivity.
Do we just lose ourselves again?
No, we did not M&M ourselves.
This is good. Good. There you go. So again, I think it's a great point. The Nathan in regards to Penn State, and Jerry Sandusky, and then ultimately, what was the one you mentioned again? I'm sorry.
Larry Nassar.
Yeah,
Larry
Michigan
Nassar.
State.
Larry
Nassar.
Two terrible ones. Do you think this Brian Kelly thing will go down as a pretty big deal, scandal wise? But overall, just the type of character that he has, the things that we saw happen at LSU as well, with and what we're seeing from when he left Notre Dame, the things that happened there. Do you think this is going to go down as one of those kind of scandalous type hires?
I just think people are gonna look at him and remember him for a lot of the bad stuff character wise. And I mean, I saw a video yesterday. It wasn't just the kid who fell off and died who was filming the practice at Notre Dame. It's also, there was I believe he had a player who had a brain tumor that had to be removed, couldn't play anymore. Didn't call him, didn't text him, didn't say hi, didn't anything.
Or Kyron Lacey.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
What's that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He had that too.
I mean,
Yep.
He didn't talk to the kid, according to he never talked to him, I guess, according to parents, right?
Yeah.
Even though Brian said, I talked to him. The parents no, you've never talked to this kid. Like, what?
Yeah.
I mean, ugh.
Yeah. So, but it's so bizarre to me, right? Because I have my uncle Brian actually played for Brian Kelly once upon a time when he was at Grand Valley State, because that's kind of where his trajectory started. He went from Grand Valley and then obviously up into Division I, and then eventually wound his way over to Notre Dame. But he talked about how really when he was there, Brian Kelly was very welcoming too, because my uncle Brian was a father at the time when he was playing in college. And so a lot of times he would bring my cousin Casey to the practices, and, Brian Kelly would set up, something to where, someone would watch the kid for him so he could come to practice and go to class and make everything happen. And a lot of good glowing stories about Brian Kelly. So this dichotomy, this two-sidedness of I can't really figure out what I make of him, but what I will say is that there are some very bad moments in his career where he made it about himself. And ultimately, I think that's why Brian Kelly's done coaching in college football, because I don't think he understands what the modern player requires. You can't be an overlord anymore. That's just not how coaching works. You can't be a dictator. You can't do the things that he does. And that's probably why he didn't succeed at the level he wanted to succeed at. He was good for a long time, but he's been in for a long time. And this is why we see a lot of these OG coaches that are stepping aside, because they don't understand the way of coaching now. I mean, look at Marcus Freeman, look at Dan Lanning. I mean, those were the examples I saw yesterday, and then compare that to what you see out of Brian Kelly. It's night and day. So I think he's done. I think he's done coaching in college football, as he should be.
Ryan, any thoughts as we get ready to take off?
Brian Kelly's a bum. Never liked him to begin with. I hope he never coaches college football again. I never liked him, and his family. That was hilarious to me. But just a scandal for me, I thought, again, I haven't been around for a ton of them. I thought was the Astros, the Houston Astros sign stealing. And I think personally the best one for me was just the Michigan one, just because of the different fan bases and how much of a toll that the Michigan State and Ohio State fan bases went under, and it didn't matter because Michigan still won in the end. Whether they definitely broke rules, but I just still thought that, beating Ohio State, beating Penn State, winning the Big Ten, beating Bama, Washington handily was awesome, because it didn't matter in the end, and I just thought that was great. But yeah, no, there's other scandals I'm sure that I'm missing. But no, I would say those are the two big ones that I've witnessed, and I haven't witnessed a ton that I don't think. Nassar, I witnessed. Sandusky, I vaguely remember, but no. I would say Michigan and the Astros were the best ones for me. Or worst, I guess you could say.
Worst.
Yeah, we'll go worst, not best.
Worst. Yeah.
Yeah, nope. No,
Most notable.
It makes sense. Well, another great show, another show in the books here. Number 181 has come to an end here. We'll be back here tomorrow morning on Halloween for number 182. We're excited about that. So come back here tomorrow morning. Don't forget to subscribe, like us, share us with your friends and family. Check us out on all the social media. Let us know what you want to hear, too. I think it's important to hear from you as far as what you want to hear on this show as well. We obviously try to go after stories and topics that are currently, top of mind here in the soccer community. But we'd love to hear your thoughts on that as well. So let us know on social media. But that's Nathan Wengler, Ryan Glinsky, the producer here of Inside the Game this morning. I'm Jonathan Turner. Back here tomorrow morning for number 182 on Halloween. From the biggest matches to the hottest takes, Jonathan Turner and Nathan Wengler bring you the stories, the analysis, and the edge you won't get anywhere else. Streaming live weekdays at 9 a.m. on YouTube, Roku TV, Facebook, Twitter, and all major platforms. No filters, no fluff, just real talk, real soccer. This is Inside the Game.